What's going on, everybody? Des here, bringing you another guide, and this one I'm excited about. This is the embodiment of laziness build for group settings. Now, the first thing I'm going to point out is you're going to see me not doing anything for the entire time. That's because Furokawa is running his One Punch Monk build, and yeah, he's going to kill stuff long before I can even get set up properly for it. Now, this build is going to be best used with a support monk, I believe. It's still up for debate on whether or not it'll be good with a support barb, satyr, witch doctor, maybe another demon hunter. But the way this build is going to work is built solely for damage, while the support class should have adequate abilities to keep you alive. If you find that there isn't enough survivability even with the support monk, then I would switch a couple things up. I don't say this in the skills portion, unfortunately. I forgot, and I'm an idiot, and I'm bad at YouTube. But if you find yourself not able to survive, I would say rock a gizzard, wildebeest gizzard, the gem that adds life per second and gives you a shield for the times that you're not hit. Use that instead of Bane of the Powerful, and this is kind of a spoiler alert in terms of gems, but that's okay. Now, wait until I get to the Rift Guardian. This build is absolutely filthy. We're on a Greater Rift 55, and I was still getting used to the build. Like my Frocow and I were spending quite a bit of time theory crafting and figuring out what the best geared would be to make this build actually work. So I don't even know what kind of potential this can push. I can tell you that with the lazy build solo built towards survivability, I was able to clear Greater Rift 82 last season. He was able to clear Greater Rift 83. So I want to say if you're in a support setting, this might be able to go 90 plus. Crossing my fingers for it. If it doesn't hit 90 plus, don't come back and yell at me, because I do not claim to be a Demon Hunter expert, nor do I claim to be a Diablo 3 expert. But as you see right there, the boss got one shot. So I will be back in a moment. We'll go over the gear and what you need to do. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back to go over the gear with you. And this is probably my fourth time recording. I keep having people call and interrupt the progress, so I'm sorry about that. So you'll see first thing, I have 4 pieces of the Unhallowed Essence, 2 pieces of the Shadows. Now, these are all interchangeable, so whatever gear you get, as long as you have 2 pieces of Shadow and 4 pieces Unhallowed, you can mix and match however for the best results. So first thing, we'll go over the Unhallowed items. In this case, for the helmet, you want Dex, Vit, crit hit chance. Dex, Vit, and I don't think there's Phantom Knives damage. So I would go with maybe life per second. I don't remember what everything comes on the chest, so don't mind me. I don't consider myself an expert. I am just trying to give you a good idea of what to start with. Then pants, Dex, Vit, all res. Boots, Dex, Vit, Fan of Knives damage. And I mean the movement speed isn't gonna make or break the idea. If you have movement speed, you can put less into your Paragon points for the extra movement speed. You know, that's good. Shoulders, you want area damage, crit hit chance, or no, not crit hit chance, cooldown reduction, and Dex. Gloves, you want area damage, crit hit damage, and if you don't have enough cooldown reduction, go ahead and have that as another stat. Otherwise, Dex is also part of it. And then another piece that makes the build go around, we have the Endless Swag set. Lightning damage, area damage, crit hit damage would be the most optimal.
And then if it's ancient, you can put your augments into your main stat for that. But yeah, definitely lightning, crit, area damage. Compass Rose is the other piece for the puzzle. Area damage, crit hit damage, dex, and crit hit chance if you're feeling really froggy. Then we're going to roll with the Nemesis Bracers as part of the build. And the only reason I have Nemesis Bracers instead of Wraps of Clarity is because it's the lazy build and I won't be using any Hatred Spenders or Hatred Generators until the Rift Guardian. And by the time the Rift Guardian's a thing, the support character should be able to keep me alive. So stats, as you see, lightning damage, dex, all res, and I would go with crit hit chance. Another piece of the build is the Thunder God's Vigor. Lightning, 14%. This can actually give you up to 15%, but you definitely, that's automatic. You already have lightning damage. Then you want dex, vit, life percent is pretty good. And this is actually a crappy roll. The legendary affix can go up to 130% weapon damage as lightning, and the bottom of the barrel is 100%, so you see how that worked for me. We're also going to be using a Stone of Jordan. If you can get anything out of this, you definitely want lightning damage, 30% elite damage, and dex, and then a socket. Well, and sockets should be on all your jewelry anyways. Then we're going to go with Lord Greenstone's Fan for the 2-piece. It gives you 1200% increased damage when you have a melee weapon equipped. And then this is going to be area damage, percent damage, dex, and if you need CDR. But it's really difficult to roll out of that cold damage. And then the second legendary affix can be up to 200%, so the closest you can get to 200%, the better. And if you have an ancient one that's 170% damage, I'd still go with the non-ancient. At least maybe a couple percent off won't be a make or break situation. Then we're going to go with the Holy Point Shot. Lightning damage, area damage, crit hit chance, dex. And then in your cube, Dawn is going to be a must-have for any Demon Hunter build. 65% cooldown reduced for Vengeance. Illusory Boots, so you can continue to walk through enemies. And Convection of Elements, which gives you your 200% increased damage to your lightning whenever that hits the rotation right now. And one thing I want to stress is in your cube, avoid using anything that has a damage ability. So Poxfalds, for example, you're going to have plenty of enemies within 12 yards. I have not tested the theory on whether or not the weapon damage can crit, but let me go over the skills first and you'll understand why that might be a concern. So you're going to have Bolas Freezing Strike, and that's really only going to be used to build up Stricken when you're on the Rift Guardian. Phantom Knives Pinpoint Accuracy, that's going to be your lightning damage. It's the best you can have for Phantom Knives in my opinion. And then I'm using Shadow Power Gloom just for a little bit of damage reduction for when I do have to go in between the middle of the people and blow them up. March for Death Contagion, that's going to be pretty good. Ideally, you can throw it on a piece of trash, and when you hit your Phantom Knives, it'll spread to the rest of the packs, but you definitely want it to be on the champion mobs, so hit it a couple times so that way you have it on the champion mobs and a little bit of the trash mobs. So if you do kill the trash but not the blues or yellows, then it'll spread to the rest of the pack at least. And this will be an extra 15% damage. Then Wolf Companion, 15% increased damage while it's active. And it also... Never mind. Yeah, the passive is just attacking enemies in front of them. Then we're going to go with Vengeance Darkheart, which is more damage reduction, and it'll give us an extra boost to our attack whenever we're active on that. And then for the passives, we got Thrill to Hunt and Call the Weak, which work together. increase damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20, and this will slow your enemies 80% for 2 seconds when you're using your hatred spenders. That being said, yeah, it works hand in hand together. And you also have your Traveler, or I forgot to go over the gems. Bane of the Stricken, Bane of the Powerful, and Bane of the Trapped. Now the Bane of the Powerful, I feel like is negotiable for something a little more glass cannon if there is anything. But for sure, if you want Bane of the Powerful, it's going to have to be at least level 65 to 70, just so you have enough time to get to the next elite pack before the buff wears down, and have your Phantom Knives cycle back on rotation. And then we're going to use Ambush. That's kind of a must-have. Additional 40% damage to enemies above 75% health. And Sharpshooter. This is why we don't attack. This is why it's the lazy build. Every second you're not attacking, or critically hitting, rather, you're going to get an extra 4% crit every second. And this goes up to 100%, as you'll see. Where's my crit chance? My crit chance right now is 100. If I go and attack something... Wow, that was the worst place for me to pick. Alright, let's pull up my details again. Well, I suppose that won't help you any. Alright, so I just crit. Now my crit chance goes to 16, 20. It's just going to keep going all the way up to 100 when I'm critting. And that's actually going to do it for all the skills. Like I said, if you guys try this build out with a damage spender in your cube, like the Pox Falls or and Ariel's Visage, if those proc your Sharpshooter, let me know in the comments, because I'm scared to try it out. I mean, I guess I can try it out while we're doing lower pushes, but also let me know what you think about the build in the comments below. I'm actually going to be excited to try and push some greater rifts in group with this. But that's going to do it for the video. Let me know what you think, like I said, in the comments. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.